Today is Wednesday. I've got 4 orders going out for a total of $63.35. First was this Kellogg's Teen Tony Cornflakes Breakfast Bunch Bowl. I picked this up recently at an estate sale. I paid $4 for it and it sold for $16.11. I just thought this was too cool to not pick it up, and that was the reason that I paid $4 for it. I didn't see a whole lot of comps for this one specifically, but there were some comps for the other characters, and they didn't sell for quite as much, but I just thought this one was cool enough that it could get at least $16, and it did. Next item that sold is a Ballard Broadway's Must-Sees Micro Fleece blanket or throw or something like that. It's got, I don't know, it's got like pictures of old movies and stuff on it. This is an item that I picked up at the bin store for $2, and it sold for $15.10 plus shipping. I've been having it sitting for probably about a year, so I'm glad to see this thing finally sell. This vintage Walt Disney World autograph book sold for $13.25 plus shipping. This came from the estate sale where me and Kim spent $50 on a whole lot of stuff, so I don't really have hardly anything into it. It does have, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7, 8 pages of autographs. There's still a lot of blank pages in the back though. I actually have one that looks exactly like this that I got on one of my trips to Disney World when I was a kid. The last item that sold is a vintage Little Playmate cooler by Igloo in all white. I didn't look on Terapeak, but when I did look at the sold comps, I didn't find any of these that were all white. So I listed this one, well, I listed it a little bit higher. I've since reduced the price, and it sold for $18.89 plus shipping, and it came from what was labeled as an estate sale, but it was really more like a garage sale. But I'm pretty sure it was probably no more than $4. I want to show you something that my friend Kim bought me. I don't know how many people will recognize this hat, but this hat was purchased from Wolfman's Goodies. And he has a YouTube channel if you're not familiar with him. I typically watch almost all his videos. But here's what happened. So we were watching some of Wolfman Goodies videos, and I saw this hat come up. And I'm like, man, that hat is cool. It's got Harambe here on the front. And if you're not familiar with Harambe, I don't know, this was maybe 8 or 10 years ago. He was a gorilla at some zoo, and a little kid ended up making it through the barricade or whatever and got into the place where the gorilla was. And it's one of those things where there's people on both sides of the fence about what happened. The people at the zoo shot and killed Harambe. And I have mixed feelings about the whole thing. There were people there that said, you know, well, first of all, Harambe didn't do anything to hurt the kid, because the kid, I can't remember if I said, but I think he was like 3. But the gorilla didn't do anything to hurt the kid. And there were witnesses there that said it appeared he was trying to figure out how to give the kid back, you know, get the kid back up to where he belongs to. But at the same time, the zoo people, they couldn't take a chance on him potentially hurting the kid, so they shot and killed him. Now, you know, I really can't blame them, because obviously human life is more important than an animal's life. But, you know, the people I really blame are the parents of that kid. Why did you let your kid go crawl through some little bitty opening and get into a cage with a 400-pound gorilla? So that's who I ultimately blame for this gorilla getting killed. It's Harambe here. He has some angel wings and a halo. And then for some reason, which I don't understand, there's a panda with an AR-15 and a chef's hat here on the side. I don't have any idea what this means. The panda looks kind of sad too, like maybe this is where the panda is representing, you know, the people who had to shoot him. I don't really know. However, I thought the hat was pretty cool. So I mentioned it while we were watching the video. I said, man, that's a cool hat. And she's like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, she's not a hat person where I am. And I've always worn a hat basically since I was in high school. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, dude, you're just wearing a hat because you're going bald. Oh, I am going bald. There's no doubt about it. I actually still have plenty of hair, except right here on the top. But at the same time, I've also been shaving my head pretty much since I was in high school. Like, I'm one of those people that don't care about hair. If all my hair would fall out, I'd be happy with it. I've never been the person to style their hair and put, I don't know, hairspray or mousse or whatever. I just wanted it cut off because it's hot where I live. I don't have to deal with it. I shave my head with clippers, and so hair is just not a big deal to me. But I do always wear a cap. I've always worn a cap. I've also always shaved my head. So anyway, Kim complains about this hat. I don't know how well you can tell in the video, but the hat's definitely on its way out. I do have a few other hats that I kind of keep in case, I mean, I know this sounds ridiculous, but let's say I misplaced this hat. I have more hats that I can wear, but I typically wear this one just because it fits my head good. But it gets pretty gross sometimes, and I do wash it. You know, when I work, I'm sweating and stuff like that. Sometimes here in my eBay room, I'm sweating. But the point is, she hates this hat and thinks it needs to be thrown away. So when I told her I thought that was a cool hat, she went and bought the hat for me. But she didn't just buy it. Now, he had this hat listed at $50. And she sent him what I consider to be kind of a lowball offer of $25. But he did accept it. Sometimes Kim will talk about these buyers that really shoot her lowball offers. And I'm like, you lowballed Wolfman's Goodies by 50%. So anyway, she bought me this hat. I haven't started wearing it yet. The one thing that I do have to do is pull this little ball off the top of the hat. You can see this one does not have one. And I always pull these off of all of my hats. They are decorative only. They don't do anything. They're not holding the hat together. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why they are on there. But if I'm going to the shooting range or something like that and I have earmuffs on, you know, it's pushing down that little metal piece into the top of your head. And it's just uncomfortable. And really, that little piece is completely unnecessary. So I am going to pull that off. It has been worn a little bit, so I'll probably wash it. I don't know if this will be an everyday hat because I really like it. Like, I don't want to take it and just put it in a collection sitting there. I do want to wear it because I think it's really cool. But it probably won't be like an everyday wear hat because I simply wear hats out, you know, and I don't want to wear it out. So yeah, my friend Kim lowballed Chad at Wolfman's Goodies, which if you're not familiar with the channel, definitely go check him out. You know, he's a pretty good guy. Today is Thursday. It's afternoon. It's actually a rainy afternoon, which we really needed some rain. It's been so flipping hot around here lately that people are wanting rain, and that's not something that people around here usually want. I've only got 2 orders going out today for a total of $32.05. The first order, or a 6-pack of Type S1 replacement filter cartridges for Intex Pure Spa. And these only sold for $8.86, but these all came from the bin store for either 50 cents or $5 fill-a-bag, because these don't have a whole lot of value on their own, so I wouldn't have paid more than 50 cents for these. The last item are replacement blades for a Presto Professional Salad Shooter Plus. I picked up the whole machine and all the blades at an estate sale. I think it was only $5 if I remember correctly. And I decided to part it out just because typically with the salad shooters, I get more by parting it out. So the blades sold for $23.19, which more than pays for the whole machine. I still have the base unit and the power plug to go. Today is Monday. It's about midday, and I've only got 5 orders going out, which encompasses from Friday afternoon until today. So that's almost 4 full days. Barely over 1 order per day. It's a total of $55.09. That price does not include shipping or taxes or anything like that. But to say my sales have been bad is an understatement. This is the 2nd year in a row that I've experienced a pretty bad summer slowdown. Last year, it had gotten kind of bad, and previous to that, I had promoted only a handful of my items. Once my sales had significantly dropped during the summer, I started promoting, and I saw an increase in sales that I directly attribute to promoting. I've been promoting ever since. Currently, I'm promoting at 5.5%, but that doesn't really seem to be doing anything. My friend Kim, she only sold 2 things over the whole weekend. I did make one sale on Mercari that I did not include in that total. It was just an $8 DVD. I had it listed for, I think, $9 or $9 and some change. They sent me an offer of $8, and I gladly took it. This weekend, there were 7 estate sales going on. I went to a total of 6. The last one, I simply did not have time to go to. One of the estate sales ended Saturday and it was 50% off. So I bought some items from there, and the additional 6 that were going on Sunday, like I said, I went to 5 of them. I just didn't have time to get to the last one, but I bought a bunch of stuff. I was with my friend Kim, and she has a nice size SUV, and we completely filled it up. Even to the point where we didn't know if we should go to the last estate sale because we just didn't have the extra room. We did end up going, and we found a few things, but this isn't the first time that we've been to an estate sale and literally filled up her vehicle. Probably a little over half of the items were for me, which is probably better because she doesn't have a tendency to oversource like I do. What I wanted to talk about was, again, the fact that I am completely out of space. I've sourced pretty heavily from estate sales over the last few weeks, and I no longer have nooks and crannies and areas to stick things. I now have items sitting on my sofa. I have several piles of them in my kitchen where all the bins are, not the ones behind me, but the ones in the other room where you would see me pulling orders from. I've got stuff sitting on those bins. I've got stuff sitting on the floor. It's definitely at crisis level at this point. So I really can't do any more sourcing with the available space I have here. And I'm not against getting a storage unit other than the inconvenience of running back and forth to one. I live very close to my parents, and they have, I believe it's a 12 by 30 or a 12 by 35 shed. It is not climate controlled. Well, let me back up. About 2/3 of it is not climate controlled. About 1/3 of it does have a window unit air conditioner, which is never used. The reason that the air conditioner was put in and we had closed off this one section of it was because it was a candle shop that my mom had many years ago. So she made custom candles there. She has not done that in many, many years, so now it's just more storage. But with a little picking up and some rearranging, I can use that section of their shed for storage, and it's climate controlled. So I think this is going to work out good for a short to mid-term storage solution. This way I can get some death pile out of my house. As soon as I get some free time, I'm going to go in there and start cleaning up that shop area and start bringing some death pile over there. On to my Pitiful weekend sales. The first item going out is another 6-pack of these S-Produce Type H filter replacements for a hot tub. Now these came from the bin store, and they were either 50 cents per 2-pack like this, or they came in $5 fill-a-bag. I don't remember, but they don't sell for very much, so I don't pay any more than, 50 cents or so for those. Now this set right here clears out that particular bin, but I've got, I think, 2 more full bins of unlisted filters like this that I'm really debating on even listing them, because again, 6 of these only sold for $7.86, and they take up a lot of room. So I may just end up donating those to clear out a couple bins that I can put listed inventory in. The next item that sold was a 2-pack of swimming pool ladder protective non-slip mats, and those came from the bin store. They were either 50 cents or $1, or again, maybe $5 fill-a-bag. Not very valuable, so I wouldn't have put a lot of money into those. And they sold for $9.76 plus shipping. Next is a pack of Armed Security Officer embroidered patches. These came from the bin store. Were these $1 or $2? I don't remember. I know they weren't more than 2, but they sold for $11.57 plus shipping. Next, I sold a Galco leather handcuff case, and this sold for $13.90 plus shipping. It came from an estate sale, and I want to say that I may have paid up to $5 for it, because the comps that I saw were in the $20 to low $20 range, even for a used one or a well-used one like this one. Unfortunately, it's been sitting, and I did lower the price on it, so I only got $13.90. So really not a good flip. But at this point, with as bad as sales are, I'm lowering prices more and more. As a matter of fact, I've already done that twice, and I'm probably going to go through and lower a lot of my prices even more, at least temporarily, until sales begin to pick up some naturally. As bad as sales were this last weekend, I averaged about $12 to $13 per day gross profit, and that's just not going to cut it. The last item that sold is a 20 slot handmade wood knife block that is unfinished. And this came from an estate sale. And I want to say I paid $250 for this, but I can't remember for sure, but I think it was about $250. I'd actually got a message last Monday from a buyer about that knife block. And he said, I had it in my cart, and I think it was $12 and some change, and the price went up to $16. I couldn't do anything right at that moment because I was working. It was during the middle of the day. So later on, I sent a message that the reason it went up was because the sale had ended. I didn't restart my sale right away because I wasn't sure how much I wanted to discount, 10, 15, 20% or what. So I replied with a message that I just lowered the price to $12, basically what it was when it was on sale. And the buyer did end up buying it a couple days later. I almost forgot about my Mercari sale. This is a Stranger Things Season 4 DVD. It came from the bin store. I believe I paid $1 for it, and it sold for $8 on Mercari. The last time I filmed a video was Monday, and I didn't have much going out from the weekend. Well, I didn't get any more orders Monday. I got no orders Tuesday. I got 2 orders early Wednesday morning. Today's Thursday, and I have no orders as of yet. And the 2 orders that are going out pretty much dirt cheap. The first item that sold is this pocket guide to the DSM, and it sold for $6.85 plus shipping, but I had reduced shipping of $3.25 on this item. Now this came from the bin store, and I probably only have $1 into it, but after fees and, you know, making up the difference on the shipping, what am I going to make, like $1.50? And the last item is a Case Logic 60 CD case. This sold for $12.89 plus shipping, and I paid $5 for this at an estate sale. Plus, at a different estate sale this last weekend, I picked up a replacement insert for it because one of the inserts was cracked. And I didn't even get a chance to update the listing before this thing sold. So this is the insert that was in it. It's got a little crack. It really doesn't affect the functionality, but I would rather sell one without the crack. If you watch my channel for a while, you know that I really don't care for FedEx. I'm not going to go into too deep about everything because I've talked about it in other videos, but let's just say they have about a 90% failure rate on getting the items that I ordered. I was running low on boxes, and I was completely out of packing paper. I heard Shed Flips talking about using Zorro, which is a division of Grainger, and I've been getting my packing supplies, at least of my boxes and my packing paper, from Grainger. I would place the order online and go pick it up. Well, Shed Flips was talking about using Zorro and getting free delivery over $50, plus they were sending out lots of coupons. So I decided to give them a shot. I placed an order for 3 different size boxes and 1 roll of craft paper. The shipping was free, and I really had a bad feeling because I didn't see how the items were going to be shipped, and I looked, but I didn't see any indication of which carrier they were going to be using. And I'm like, please don't be FedEx. Please don't be FedEx. Well, the next day, or maybe 2 days later, when I got the shipping notification, it was FedEx. FedEx made that delivery about an hour ago, or at least most of it. So I have to give them credit that they got 3 of the 4 items that I ordered to me, to my house, and delivered. But unfortunately, the 4th item, which is the packing paper that I really need, wasn't delivered. When the FedEx truck pulled up, that was impressive because that means they found my house, which is not that hard to find, but, well, it is for FedEx, but not for most people. So I walked outside, and he was digging around in the back of the truck for the boxes, and he eventually pulled out 3 boxes. The packing paper is going to be kind of heavy, and I could tell that from the 3 boxes that he pulled out of his truck, they were not heavy. And I was trying to explain to him that I think there's a 4th package that I don't have here. I'm going to hold out hope that maybe they're going to find it on their truck and maybe deliver it later on today or tomorrow. But look, I'm already pushing my luck that they actually found where I live. I've got an update about my FedEx package situation, and it appears that I jumped the gun just a little bit. Zorro shipped 4 packages in total. I received 3, thinking that the 4th one should be with the other 3. But apparently the packing paper roll that I ordered has not made it here yet. It looks like that is still in Memphis. So I did assume that FedEx was making a mistake, but that is totally based on my past experience with them making more mistakes than getting it right. But hopefully that will arrive like it's supposed to. I went to the post office and dropped off my packages, and I had a return that had just come in. This was an Arctic Air personal cooler that I shipped, I think, week before last. The buyer had opened a return request saying their air conditioner was broke, but then it started working, so they wanted to return it. So I accepted the return. They didn't do an INAT or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, make sure that the item is in there, and they did send the proper item back. It doesn't look like they even attempted to use it, so I'm going to go ahead and refund them in just a minute. I was looking at the amount of shipping that the buyer paid to have this item shipped to them. It was $8.43, and that is with the eBay discounted shipping rate. I shipped that package out with priority mail because I wanted to be able to use a priority mail box, because I knew I could trim the box down and it would fit that package pretty good. They used USPS Ground Advantage for the return. Just out of curiosity, I checked to see how much the return shipping would be. And if they paid full retail rates, they actually paid $12.30 to return the item back to me, which is about $4 more than they paid to have the item shipped to them. Now, they may have used Pirate Ship or one of the other shipping services and saved some money. But all in all, the buyer was in for a total of $21.93. So if they did pay retail rates, they're in for about $33, and they're only going to get a refund of $11.74. So in the end, they are not really gaining anything by sending this back. They could have kept the item, not spent any money on the return shipping, and been right where they're at and still have the item. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.